What's up, everybody? It's Miles Turner, the Indiana Pacers. You're listening to the Paceroos Podcast. Be sure to follow @Paceroos on Twitter.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Paceroos Podcast, the only Australian NBA podcast with a bias towards the Indiana Pacers. I'm coming to you live. My name's Adam. I'm coming to you live from Tasmania today, where we're 2 years behind everyone else. So I just checked the box scores, and Jan Mahimni's still in our team. So I'm going to have to get a bit of help from the stats from Justin and Alex today. But, guys, we've had a pretty successful week and some interesting games coming up. I'll introduce you guys one at a time, as I usually do. Alex, how have you seen the last few days of Pacers basketball?
Well, it is good to be to finally get a semi-healthy team back. Obviously, Brogdon coming back last game, but Sumner, he's getting that cast off soon. So, it's only Oladipo now. When he comes back, this team's just about fully healthy. That's the most important thing. And obviously getting the wins is good as well.
And Justin, you're loving Aaron Holiday's performances right now. I can see it. I can hear it I see it on your Twitter account. I can hear it in your voice. You're just a big Aaron Holiday fan right now.
Hey, at least I'm man enough to admit when I'm wrong. I just go with it. I'm not someone who's going to keep denying it. He's played fantastic, and I will say, I honestly couldn't be happier. This is what I wanted from him. I said he was a bit, too much just a spot up shooter. He's coming on the floor now, leading the floor. He's getting others involved. I am honestly happy, but please don't forget about my man, White Iverson. He is taking Indiana by storm. He's taking the internet by storm. I'm sure we'll get to that layup or that floater later on where he got the whole bench involved.
Well, let's start there. I mean, look, the bench backcourt was something that we talked about a lot preseason. We addressed it with Jeremiah Johnson, with Scott Agnes. It was a talking point for us for, the first couple of months before the season started. When we started this podcast, it was always about the bench unit and particularly the guards that came off the bench. We've now seen that Aaron Holiday and TJ McConnell can not only play together, but they can complement each other. TJ McConnell, assumes that leadership role. Aaron Holiday is, I would argue, the focal point of the offense off the bench. And both have shown that they can contribute in completely different ways and play to their strengths together. So, Alex, particularly obviously in the last few weeks with injuries, but even in the games against Orlando and Memphis, both those guys, they balled out. They played really well.
They 100% have, and I know, Justin, you've been on the White Iverson bandwagon for longer than anyone else, so I'll give you all the credit there, even though some people on Pacers Twitter seem to think I came up with that one. But yeah, give all the credit there to Justin. But they've been fantastic. Aaron Holiday, he's been starting the last few games, as you said, with the Brogdon injury, but even coming off the bench last game, I think he had 18 points and a few assists as well. So that's a pairing that I think is perfect because I think they complement each other really well. I see Aaron Holiday as more of an off guard, playing that 2 role more than a 1. That's where he's more comfortable as that, that wing shooter, spot up shooter, as you said. And then obviously White Iverson, I mean, he just plays his roles so well. I don't think there's a player in the league that knows their game more than TJ McConnell. So whether it's that little turnaround jumper or the behind the back fake, maybe I know he did a Rondo-esque fake that made me pretty happy, but 7 assists against the Magic, and I know he had something similar against the Grizzlies as well. So he's that facilitator, and then Aaron Holiday gives you that scoring punch that we really need.
It was a massive game. It was a massive moment. That photo that obviously you tweeted out on our account, Justin, got a lot of traction. People love this team and love how they've come together as a unit.
Yeah, I think that'll be a photo you'll see pinned up in the Pacers arena somewhere, whether that's at the training facility, in the locker room. I know Kevin Pritchard did have some photos the last couple of years that meant something to him. I wouldn't be surprised if he pinpoints that moment. We did tweet it out, and obviously his son tweeted saying a screenshot with Kevin Pritchard was the first message he sent after the game, was that photo to his son. So I knew it would mean a lot to him. Yeah, so cool. So, obviously, people have mentioned online, very, very much similar to the Corey Joseph layup a few seasons ago. And I just thought it's fantastic. You got Oladipo jumping up, you got Goga. It's TJ McConnell is maybe the, 10th, 11th guy on the team, kind of. And to have that excitement from a teardrop, and it was really, to me, the most exciting game all year. And, we go back to the first 3 games of the season, and it's just night and day now. They're enjoying playing with each other. They're playing together. I'm so happy watching the guys play now. Like, it's night and day from where we were in Detroit.
The chemistry is there and the confidence is there. I mean, we spoke about Aaron Holiday earlier. You're seeing guys like him, TJ McConnell, Justin Holiday. There's no hesitation in their shot anymore. They're confident. They just put it up. They know where to shoot from. They know where each other requires the ball. And that bench unit is, as you say, night and day from those first 3 games where, you know, we got on this podcast and we were really concerned about bench unit production and who was going to lead the bench. And we were really looking forward to Jeremy Lamb moving to the second unit in the absent with Oladipo coming back. But this bench unit is proven that not only can they be productive, but they can go on runs and they can score a lot of points against the opposition and turn a little lead into a big lead or even pull back a deficit. So, Alex, I know it's something that you've championed with Justin Holiday all season, but they've really been able to step up as a bench unit in especially the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, first 3 games they were just not great at all. I think all of them were having, you know, minus plus minuses, even though that's probably the most useless stat in the books for the box score bandits. But you look at the points they've scored. I think in the first couple of games, you know, it was about 10, 15, 20 points maybe a game they were scoring. Now they're scoring 40 plus every night. So yeah, you know, it's night and day. They're doubling their scoring output. Like you said, the confidence is up, especially for guys like Aaron Holiday. Goga's contributing as well. Less foul trouble from the start of the season. So, you know, everyone's more confident. Everyone looks a lot more comfortable in what their roles are than, you know, they did in the first week or 2 of the season.
And it hasn't come at the expense of defense either. I mean, you know, usually if a team goes on a better offensive run, then potentially they're giving up more points. But we've seen this bench unit contribute defensively. I mean, Goga leads all rookies in blocks still. You know, guys like TJ McConnell, Justin Holiday play the passing lanes really well. Doug McDermott has, you know, taken a step forward in his defense after being obviously on the Pacers for 1 season. So we're seeing these bench players really step up, be able to defend their position, which is all that we ask of them on the defensive end, because they're playing against the opposition second units, and therefore, you know, there's not a heap of top line talent coming off the bench in the NBA. So, you know, they're showing effort on the defensive end and then confidence on the offensive end. And you can't ask for much more than that. Justin, what impressed you the most about the couple wins against Orlando and Memphis from the last few days? What caught your eye the most?
Just the whole production of the team, I think. I think everyone's got the green light on offense now. You know, everyone feels comfortable taking a shot, which, I don't know, Pacers have never really had. I think, you know, Doug McDermott, we've spoke about him briefly on the podcast. He's just got the green light. I swear his confidence is just through the roof now. And you look at Justin Holiday, I'm confident in nearly everyone on the team making a shot. You know, even Jeremy Lamb played well since he's been back. We're going to shout out TJ Warren, 26 points against Memphis. Pacers are rarely a team where someone's going to drop 30, 35 points. It's going to be an even spread. Everyone's going to get their, 12 to 18 points from the starters, and then hopefully we get contributors from the bench. We're not a team set up like Houston where, you know, we've got a Harden going to score 35. And I even think when Oladipo comes back, even going into next season, if we keep this team together, I don't think he's going to be someone dropping 35, 40 points every second night. We're a balanced team. We like it that way. We want Sabonis to take, 10, 15 shots a game. We want Turner to take 10 shots a game. It's just a real even spread, which I like, and it makes it hard to defend us because you essentially can't just hone in on one player like you can with the Houston and try and stop Harden. You know, you've got to worry about Brogdon, Oladipo, Sabonis, and Turner and Warren. So, my biggest thing is the even spread. I love seeing everyone contribute, and it's so good to have Malcolm Brogdon back. You know, close to a triple-double.
The president,
just love how he controls the floor. So, it was really good, 2 wins, and hopefully we can kick-start a 3-game winning streak against a tough Utah team tomorrow.
Do you think, though, it's an interesting point you raise about it being so even and consistent across the top 9 or 10 players? And Alex, I'll go to you for this question, but do you think that it could be perceived by the wider NBA fan base as a negative, though? Because in the playoffs, you have, great players step up, and if you don't have that designated great player, do you think that could work against the Pacers, or do you think that'll be the narrative that it could work against the Pacers? I mean, obviously Oladipo being an all-star, Brogdon on track, Sabonis on track to potentially All-Star berths this year. But, the lack of that go-to player down the stretch, Oladipo is obviously at 1A for that, but do you think that might be a narrative that hurts the Pacers, or even something that actually hurts the Pacers heading into down the stretch and into the playoffs this season, not having one go-to guy that they can, they know who to get the ball in those situations?
Well, first of all, I just want to say that Fox Sports Indiana put up a great question during the last game where they asked how many Pacers players had scored 12 or more points this season, because, we've had so many injuries and whatnot, and I think it was 13. I mean, if you actually think about that, that's actually insane. But to go back to your question, no, I don't think it's a problem. I think it's a problem for people that don't watch the Pacers, or people in the national media maybe. I know if you look back at last year, Charles. Yeah, exactly. That's a shout out to you for that one, Justin. But no, if I remember back to last year, Charles Barkley said that the Pacers had no shot just for that reason. They don't have that superstar. And the people in the national media are going to say that, Zach Lowe and all those guys. But us Pacers fans, I think you've got Oladipo you can go to. You've got Brogdon. I think this year more than previous teams, we have it isn't just going to be Oladipo abusing that Oladipo ISO or high screen pick and roll. You have other guys that can score off the dribble. We saw that with Jeremy Lamb, TJ Warren. That was a massive problem last year. We didn't have guys that could score off the dribble or ISO and you could give the ball to and they could just get a bucket down the stretch. Now we have, 3 or 4 guys that can do that. So, no, I don't think it's a problem. I think this team's much better set up for, to do it by committee than to have one guy play hero ball.
Yeah, it's obviously we're trying to win the way of the 2014 Spurs or the 2004 Pistons as opposed to the superstar-led teams. Justin, any concerns for not having that go-to guy down the stretch? Is that something that, you've said that that's the way the Pacers want to play, that's the way that you want the Pacers to play. Do you have any concerns as to whether it could come back to bite the team not having that one, out-and-out superstar? Or is that Oladipo even after, such a long layoff and potentially a short-term return from injury?
Yeah, it's a good question, and God, I hope so. I hope Oladipo's the man. He's shown Pacer fans how clutch he can be, hitting a game winner against Celtics and how clutch he was against Cavaliers in that playoff series. He can be our go-to player, we know that. Is he on a superstar level yet? Probably not. But yeah, it is concerning a bit, to be honest. NBA players usually say that whoever's got the best player in a series wins the series. And, you'd probably see that from last year. Kawhi was on another level. He beat Giannis, and that's just the way it is. Whoever's got the best player performing the best usually ends up winning. So it is a bit concerning, but look, that's the model we have to go by, being a small franchise. Like, we're not gonna have a Giannis or Kawhi or someone like that come to us. So we've got to build it where we've got five top players to guard, and hopefully that works. But yeah, I pray to God Oladipo's our go-to guy. I'm confident he'll come back and he'll be the one hitting the big shots for us.
Yeah, I think all of us are confident. I just want to play devil's advocate for the external fan bases that may not see it as obviously as biasly as we do. But obviously we had 2 really strong wins against Orlando and then in Memphis. One thing that really impressed me from the Memphis game was Miles Turner's defense on Ja Morant. Ja Morant had his shot recycled a few times, and soon he's kept going. To his credit, the kid kept trying to drive in and get shots. But Turner's defense was unbelievable. Another thing that impressed me was Sabonis's rebounding. He's been really consistent across this season. He's been unbelievable. But I do want to ask you guys, one thing I noticed in that Memphis game, particularly early on, was that we've spoken about the 2 centers playing together and their ability to be able to defend the center and power forward position. And I noticed that Jaren Jackson Jr. was hitting a few threes early. Is that going to be a problem for those sort of more stretch 4s heading into this season, heading into probably a more difficult part of the schedule across December? Because I saw that Jaren Jackson was able to get off the leash a little bit easier than I would have liked.
Lighting it up. He was lighting up, wasn't he? But I think, we saw it a bit with Kevin Love early in the season. I still think there's going to be growing pains with these 2 playing together, but Sabonis he's drastically improved as a defender. I think from last season he's just light years ahead of where he was. I know there was possessions even against Milwaukee where he was slowing down Giannis. So yeah, it probably is a little bit concerning, but I think they all figured it out. And with Miles's rim protection, I'm not overly concerned. I think everyone's going to contribute on the defensive end. Warren and Lamb have been pretty good as well. So yeah, I think Sabonis is a lot. He's improved a ton on that end of the floor, and I think he's going to continue to grow there. Yeah, so I don't. It is a concern a little bit, but you look at the best teams in the East. Joel Embiid, not a great 3-point shooter. Al Horford, not a great 3-point shooter, and same with Giannis. So yeah, the top teams in the East don't really have those stretch fours, so it doesn't really concern me too much.
Yeah, I think the only team that would probably concern me against a little bit would be Boston if they played Tatum at power forward. I'd be interested to see how we come up against Boston this season. And with the issues that we had with Boston in the playoffs last season, I'm interested to see what we throw at them this year, knowing how far apart we were, obviously, but without Oladipo. So obviously not fully fit, but at the same time interested to see how we go up against Tatum, Brown, Smart, Walker, and a centre, because that lineup could give us a few problems down the track. I'm not sure when we play Boston the first time this season. Alex, if you got that, if you can pull that up easily. But Justin, what do you think about stretch fours against this team, or more offensive, perimeter-minded power forwards against this team? Do you have any concerns about that?
Yeah, I do a bit. And what you said, Adam, we play the Celtics in about 2 weeks, which I circled that on my calendar as a real big game. I think obviously the pace is going to be a bit more healthy for that game. And I think we're coming back from a 5-game road trip, so it's going to be our first game back at home. So I can't wait for that game. Really, just to go on off tangent a bit, but by the end of December, we're really going to know what this team's about. I think we got that 5-game road trip, which includes the 76ers, the Clippers, and then we come home for the Celtics, and then we got Lakers a bit later on. So December's a tough month, and I'm actually looking forward to it. We haven't actually had a big meaningful win yet, if that makes sense. I don't think, our best win's probably against Brooklyn. Is that right? Is that our biggest win?
Yeah, probably. And that doesn't sound great when you put it that way, does it?
No, we're going to be realistic there. We actually, I know you can only beat who's in front of you. We've said all that all year, but you got to take a step back. Yeah, we've got a good record, but haven't beaten anyone yet. Like Detroit have been terrible, Orlando have been terrible. We beat Brooklyn. We're 2-0 against them. 1 game without Kyrie. We obviously got belted by Bucks and Rockets. Obviously, we were well short-handed on that back-to-back, but December's going to be a big month for this team. The 5-game road trip's going to be interesting, and let's hope Oladipo can come back. We can start maybe talking about that, because Alex, you mentioned he did practice today.
Yeah, back in the 4-on-4s, Scott Agnes, he loves to tweet out those videos, but yeah, he's been looking real good in training. I think that jump shot's drastically looking a lot better. But yeah, like you said, December's going to be a massive month. We play, Milwaukee, Raptors, Lakers, Clippers, Celtics. It's going to be a real big test for us. Even the Miami Heat, there's really isn't an off night for us in December. But hopefully Oladipo can come back. I've actually circled it. I reckon he's going to come back around that Hornets game on the 16th. So it's a home game. I'm going to call it right. I'm going to call it right now. That's when he's coming back.
16th of December. I was actually, do you know what's funny? I was going to mention to you guys, I've circled mine. Now, this is before I get roasted online. I don't know anything. I've been told nothing. I don't know how he's feeling, but I reckon he's going to come back Christmas Eve against Toronto at home. They're definitely going to bring him back for a home game. Yeah. And because after that Raptors game, they got a 4-day break. So I reckon that one's circled for me at home against Toronto. Cool. Adam, do you have a prediction?
Yeah, I'm going to err on the side of caution and say that he's back super late in December. I remember I see we've got a game against the Pelicans on the 29th. So... or the 28th American time. So I'm going to go with the game against the Pelicans right at the end, the very last game we play in the month of December.
I love it, and I love we can start talking about it now. I can see everyone's excitement levels just lifting, talking about when we think he's going to return. And I'll tell you what, I'll do everything I can not to work that day because I cannot wait to tune in. And I know the Indiana crowd will give him a great reception like we did with Paul George. Everyone had posters, and Paul George actually did say he felt closer to the city after that game and how we treated him. So, it was great for. I was going to have a dig at Paul then, but I won't.
I was about to chime in as well.
I'll be good.
He's got loyalty in his DNA, guys, according to the Clippers pre-game video.
We'll leave that one out of this one.
But the crowd will be mental for that Oladipo return game. And if he comes in and hits his first shot.
Yeah, if you're in and around Indiana around December, I think you're gonna have to lock in tickets to just about every December game, I think.
Agreed. I think, definitely lock some tickets in for late December and early January when we know that it's most likely that he'll be back. But it's going to be epic. I think there's not many more exciting things as a Pacers fan than getting a fully healthy Victor Oladipo back on the floor. And we're super excited for that. We're going to have to bring you a special reactionary episode as soon as it happens. That's for sure.
Definitely. I was going to quickly mention to you guys on the talk of Pacer fans, and we just did play Memphis, and I think it was Turner's Block were chanting at Valanciunas, where's your ring, which is quite a clever chant. I wanted to get you guys' opinion on how do you guys think about Drake getting a ring, but Valanciunas and players like CJ Miles not?
It's something that I've sort of toyed with. I think I'm getting a little bit harsher in my old age. I think when I was younger, I was like, yeah, definitely give the other players a ring, no worries. Yeah. And now I'm like, nah. Whoever's on the floor, whoever's on the team for the the confetti in the air should be the ones to get the ring, not people who have contributed beforehand. Because ultimately, the players that are going to be in the playoffs, you're not going to do a trade mid-playoffs. The players in the playoffs are going to be the players that get the rings. So,
what about Drake though?
As for Drake getting a ring, I get
He's
it.
done a lot
PR.
for that.
It's a PR
He's
thing.
done a lot for Toronto.
He probably paid for it out of his own pocket, to be fair. So, I don't really have too much of an issue with it. Like, I feel like super fans, I saw, I think his name's Nav. I don't want to get that wrong. Nav, superfan Nav, got a ring as well. I was stoked with that. So, superfan Nav, if Drake gets a ring, but superfan Nav also gets a ring, then,
that would have been
Toronto, you did it the right way.
Mm.
For sure. And I think it's tough. I know they can't do it. It'd be so hard to be the GM saying yes or no, or whoever makes that, or sorry, not the GM, the front office. I think it's situational, which I can't, you can't have a black and white rule for, but it's like, I don't think CJ Miles deserves one. But then I think, well, geez, Valanciunas was there most of his career.
Yeah.
He kind of deserves one, but then it's like CJ Miles doesn't. Or if you're on a rookie or, like you said, Adam, you just got traded halfway through the year, you did nothing, you don't deserve it. But I think there are some players where, you put your, DeRozan, does he bloody deserve one? It's
they
tough.
sacrificed. They paid the ultimate sacrifice for them to actually win. So, I mean, Valanciunas saw it all, didn't he? He was there for all the LeBron series, and he played what? He had to have played over half a decade there. So, yeah. I think for certain players, I think, I would consider it, but like you said, for guys like Miles.
Pacers win it all, would you guys be opposed if Reggie Miller got a ring?
Look, I think you have to give Travis Diner a ring. I think you have to give TJ Ford a ring. I think, everyone
Chase
that came
Budinger has
before,
to get a ring as well.
Yeah, Chase Budinger. Yeah. Chris Copeland has to get a ring.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Monte Ellis is on the payroll still, so.
In all seriousness, I don't think Reggie would accept a ring unless he played some meaningful part on the team that won the championship. I don't think he'd actually accept it.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's a real good conversation, and it was good to get you guys' opinions because I've been thinking about it all week, and I actually don't even have an opinion on it because it's just really tough for me. I'm half in one camp, half in the other.
Something you've got a really strong opinion on, though, Justin, is Andrew Bogut.
Yes, I got to keep this a PG-friendly podcast, so I'll try not to swear. But yeah, obviously, not sure if I actually saw some Pacer fans were liking the tweets today, which was quite humorous.
You've gained a bit of traction, mate. You've become a bit of an overnight sensation of the anti-Bogut hive.
Oh, I've been part of that campaign for 10, 15 years, but look, I try and keep it to myself. Obviously, you guys we've spoke off air about a few situations Andrew Bogut's put us in, but yeah, it was like it's good to bring up on the podcast as well that what Corey Homicide Williams, who's an NBL commentator in Australia, for him to say Andrew Bogut got a private investigator to follow him and call him names and Allegedly, yeah, Bogut. It's just not what I like. And, Bogut doesn't have the best credit around internationally. And it just puts such a bad taste on Australians. Paddy Mills, everyone loves Paddy Mills. He's awesome. He's such a good ambassador for Australia. He's worldwide. Everyone, not one person would say a bad word about Paddy Mills. And that's who we as Australians like to have, I think, be on a global stage. Someone like Paddy Mills or Andrew Gaze, where the world just loves them. But for some reason, Andrew Bogut is a bit of a different cat, which is fine. But I really don't agree with some things he's done or said in the past.
He definitely marches to the beat of his own drum, which rubs a lot of people up the wrong way. And I can see both sides. I mean, on the one side, he's a tremendously talented player who's done a lot for Australian basketball in terms of putting us on the map. He's played in some great teams. He's contributed on those teams. He was great for the Golden State Warriors when they won their first title. On the other hand, he has a tendency for rubbing people up the wrong way, and he seems to enjoy it, which, is his prerogative. But, I think at that point he has to understand that that's not going to win him many friends. And I don't think he can be surprised when some criticism gets leveled at him if he's going to, make the call to rub people up the wrong way specifically. And not necessarily attack, but make quite provocative comments. I mean, we heard at the FIBA World Cup, every time he touched the ball, the crowd booed. And, Australian teams that are sort of your bad boy teams don't tend to do all that well in international competition. We would prefer to be either the plucky underdog or the proud, talent-ridden, great team. Great cricket teams, great Davis Cup teams. We don't often do well when painted as the bad guy. I think Australians like to believe that we're pretty good people. So when people start booing us, I don't think it necessarily has a positive effect on the team. I could be wrong. It could have fueled the team, but I don't think anyone loves to be booed unless they're, if it was a game against China in China, maybe. But if it's a game against, Spain in China, different story, in my view.
Yeah, and I think my timeline blew up just as much as Alex when he did the White Iverson video today with the Bogut stuff and, Homicide retweeting my thoughts. And I swear Andrew Bogut's got a burner account and he's tweeting me from it because this dude, he's doing the KD on me.
1,000% have a burner.
100%. He's blocked that many people. He needs to see what people are tweeting. And he's one of the athletes we know 100%. He searches his name on Google. He searches his name on Twitter because people have come to me today with screenshots of them just going, Andrew Bogut played terribly today. Not tagging him in it, just saying the words Andrew Bogut. And then that night he's blocked him. So someone who definitely goes home after a game and, searches his own name to see what people are saying. And, we were mentioning before the show, though, Adam, that, obviously athletes have lots of pressure in this day and age, and obviously social media is a big part of that.
Yeah, I think, Alex, you pointed out that TJ Leaf, for some reason, shut down his Instagram account, which we can bring this back to a Pacers conversation, but it just emphasizes to me how much pressure these guys are under. I mean, TJ Leaf's a guy that had big raps on him in the preseason, hasn't necessarily contributed to the degree that the team expected and he probably expected so far this season, hasn't had the opportunities of other guys like Jakar Sampson and Alize Johnson to a lesser extent, but Alex, you noticed that his Instagram account's down, and I guess we just want to make sure that even though he's not getting those minutes and opportunities, we want to see the guy do well.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I was just trying to tag him in a video, and I just noticed that he wasn't coming up. I thought it might have been blocked by TJ, but no, he must have deactivated or something. I'm not really sure. I just thought it was interesting after what Scott Agnes said. I know he mentioned a few weeks back something about social media and whether TJ reads the comments and all the posts on social media. He said no, he doesn't pay attention. So that's just why I thought it was interesting. And also, he posted for the first time in about a year, a couple of weeks ago. So just a little thought there. But going back to crowd reactions, I know, Justin, you talked about it in the Mark Boyle interview. I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on Bojan Bogdanovic obviously making his return tomorrow. What do you guys think about a tribute video?
I think he'll get cheered, but I don't think he'll get a tribute video. I don't think there's any shot of him getting a tribute video.
Right.
The only outside chance
why
that
not,
I would have is...
Why wouldn't they do a minute thing in a timeout for him?
I think the only reason they wouldn't is because he didn't win anything in Indiana.
Well, he just wasn't here long enough, I think.
But we haven't done the tribute videos, have we?
Yeah.
Yeah, true. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, if a guy like Jermaine or Danny isn't going to get one, I can't see Bojan getting one anytime soon. What did he play? 2 seasons with the Pacers? I mean, I don't think him or
Don't you guys
think
he deserves more than a poster hanging from a locker room saying "Welcome back, Bojan"? Like, to me, I'm not saying I'm sitting on the fence on this one too, but I just think some of these great, players. He was a pivotal in that playoff run. Like, we
had that game against LeBron as well. 30-point game.
That was an ovation and an acknowledgement in a timeout, in my view. Not necessarily a video, but maybe the voiceover guy saying "Welcome back." Number 44, Bojan Bogdanovic, and then a big ovation, and that's it. I think for players that have left on good terms and haven't, forced a trade, cough PG cough, they deserve. Thad, I think, should have got the same thing in a timeout. Welcome back, number 21, Thaddeus Young, and then you give an ovation, and that's it. You don't do any graphics, you don't do any videos. You just a very, very classy, brief, quick ovation and introduction and ovation. I think that's all you need, unless that player's done something significant for your franchise. If they've won an MVP, if they've won a Defensive Player of the Year, if they've been, taken you to the finals and won your conference finals, maybe. But I don't think beyond that, or if they've played for the team for 15 seasons like Mike Conley did before getting traded, and that wasn't his decision, maybe. But I think only in those situations would you give someone a tribute video like that, in my view.
Yeah, it's a real interesting talking point. And I think, like we all know, Pacers are kind of fixated where they're not going to do it anyway. But the Paceroos will be running a poll on Twitter. So it's going to be really interesting to see what the fans think, whether Bojan does deserve a tribute video or not. And it was interesting as well, like we said with Mark Boyle, how, he was like, nah, if I was the owner, I wouldn't be promoting a player on another team. You're in my building, I'm not paying your bill. So, it's good to get his point of view, but very interesting talking point.
I thought the poll was actually going to be, where does Andrew Bogut have more blocks, the NBA, the NBL, or Twitter?
I love that, and I'm not even joking. 100% would be Twitter. I would pay good money to see his block list. I love that.
Need to get the stat man on that one from the NBL, I reckon.
Yes.
I think we'll leave the slander there, but we're probably team Sean Long this weekend in Melbourne versus Sydney. But any major predictions for the upcoming games against the Utah Jazz and the Atlanta Hawks?
I'm personally worried about the Utah game. That's me. I hope. Well, I never hope for injury, but Gobert's been out the last few games, so I hope that hopefully he might.
Load management.
Yeah, hopefully he's just resting. His ankle's fine, but he's just resting because he's a low down low. Like, and we know in the summer when he played against Turner, Turner had one of his worst games for the Team USA. So Gobert's such a big presence in the paint that him playing or not, such a big difference. And then obviously they got Donovan Mitchell and Conley, Bogdanovic, Joe Ingles. So they got a really deep team. So it's going to be great. I'm a bit worried about that game. I'd love to come out with it with a win though.
Alex, what's your prediction for thing to watch out for the next couple of games?
Well, firstly, the new jerseys are debuting tomorrow, and I am very excited. I think they look absolutely incredible. I know you guys are pretty happy with them as well from what I saw, but yeah, I think the Utah one's going to be a big one. If Rudy's out, I think we get the W. Stopping Mitchell is going to be the biggest thing. So whether that's Lamb or Warren, they've got to help each other out there. I would even consider. Oh, actually, no. Brogdon's got Conley, so maybe not. But and then the Atlanta game, I think it's just containing Trae Young, isn't it? I mean, he's been absolutely incredible shooting them from just about half court every possession. So I think Brogdon will do a good job there as long as you can stop him from getting he's. I think the Hawks, at home, I think we should come out with a win there. But I'm going to call if Gobert is out, I'm going to call us 2-0. But if he's playing, it's 1-1.
I'm just going to go out on the limb and say 2-0 either way. We're going to ride a wave of momentum. We're going to win the next two games, and the Utah game is going to be our signature win this season.
Yeah, beautiful. And yeah, couldn't agree with you more, Adam. We need a signature win. We need one, whether that's Philly in a week next week, but we need a big signature win. And
last season it was that Boston game where Oladipo won it for us, I would argue.
Yep.
Yeah, that'll I'll never really forget that one. But we've made excuses for the schedules with injuries. With tomorrow or tonight, if you're in Indiana, we've got the chance for a signature win against Utah. So they got a better record than us. They're a strong Western Conference team vying for Western Conference Finals. So this is our chance to knock off a good team.
All right, I'll let you have the final word there, Justin, and we'll see you after the next couple of games on the Paceroos Podcast.